Alright folks, we're gonna do a tier list for Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown or Final Showdown, which are basically the same game. And by basic I mean they are exactly the same game, balance-wise. I've been getting a lot of questions, people asking me, who's strong, whatever, all these other questions about like, no one knows why certain characters are stronger than others, or that certain characters are better than others. There's a myth that VF is the most balanced game there is, and it actually probably is, but doesn't mean we don't have problems. It doesn't mean we don't have tiers too. So because we do, we have tiers, and they're very real, and you must not ignore them. You can pretend they don't exist. It doesn't help you though, because you want to understand why a certain character is weak and why another character is strong. That allows you to play around it, the weaknesses, and avoid the strengths of your opponent, or at least shut them down. So let's throw this up on the screen here. Not that one. Let's use there it is. Okay. Easy peasy. What the hell? Why is it so big now? What did I do? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Strongest character in the game is not Jacky. But Jacky's very strong. He's one of the best characters. He's very hard to use at the highest level. This is one of the things that I appreciate about the top tiers in Virtua Fighter. Akira and Jacky, two best characters in the game. No one argues with that. They're the best. And what makes them so good is that Jacky just craps out damage, and he just eviscerates you, and he has many great ways to open you up that are just so scary, and he's safe. But he does have to make reads, and he does have to make some good choices. He just has a lot of built-in real mix-ups that are really oppressive. If you are able to defend against his offense, then he's not as strong, and he's easier to beat. But if you don't know exactly what to do and when to do it, you're gonna lose Jacky, and you're gonna lose bad. So yeah, Jacky, he's good at all skill levels too. So often I'm going to talk a little bit about skill levels as well and how that might change the tiers. Jacky is good all the time. You're new, Jacky's good. You're a golden-haired or silver-haired old school player, Jacky's good. Vanessa is the strongest women of the women. Akira's next. Best, hands down character in the game. Hey, Bree. No one touches a good Akira player. Now, let me tell you why he's so good. He can do everything. And he can do everything moderately well. But what really makes him oppressive is that, he can't do full circulars. He gets half circulars, which means he can be stepped. But the real thing he has is what we call a guard break. Now, a lot of games have guard breaks, but VF's guard break is a little different for Akira because it's just as fast as his most scary mid attack, which is a combo starter on counter hit, and it's a mid. His guard break is a high, and it comes out at the same speed, so you can't option select those two things. So what Akira's really good at is that he can shut down your option selects, and he can force you to have to guess in a way that no other character can. Literally, no other character in this game is allowed to do that except for Akira. He alone gets that ability to say, oh, you don't get to play Virtua Fighter the way that everybody else does. You gotta play my game. And with that said, Taka is right up there. I personally put him at the top of A. He used to be an S. He used to even be considered stronger than Akira. If you are new and fighting other new players, Taka is a god. Because similar to Akira, you have to play a different game with Taka. But unlike Akira, it's not because of how good he is, how he breaks the system. It's more a fact that Taka has different rules coded into him than everybody else. So you have to learn Taka-specific combos. You have to learn Taka-specific mix-ups. Everything is different with him. And if you don't know it, you'll die to it. And he also does boatloads of damage. And he has the strongest 50-50 throw mix-up in the game. He is the grappler of this game. It is not Wolf. It is not who's a wrestler. It's not him. It's not Jeffry, who's also a big boy. It's Taka. Taka is the throw god. Nothing touches it. Pray for your life when this man chooses to throw you. And probably break it with a attack to his face. Because that'll break all throws. Next. So Bree wants to know about where Vanessa is. Vanessa is also pretty strong. This part's hard. I want more levels. How do I move? There we go. Okay, so we're gonna make add a row below. Clearly I'm new at this. Edit. A minus. And we'll delete this row. Okay, Vanessa's A minus. She's strong, and Vanessa is the strongest woman in the game, which is saying something. These characters, they're all... Where'd Pi go? They're all down here. All of them. They're all trash. Literally, they're all trash in this game. But you know, the best player in the world right now is a Pi player. And I'm one of the best players in the Western world. I'm an Eileen player. So, like, this is why, like, tiers are important, but they don't dictate who gets to win and whether you can win with the character. It just dictates how you have to go about winning. So it doesn't behoove you to pretend these don't exist. They're very real and you have to address them. Vanessa, why is she so strong? Her offensive stance. Her defensive stance is trash. If we were to say defensive stance only Vanessa, she's down here with the rest of the girls. But her offensive stance is very damaging. She's basically an Akuma. She's a glass cannon. She does tons of damage. Her mix-ups aren't oppressive like Akumas are, but they're strong enough. Her problem is that she's so light. Now in this game, being light's a real problem because it means you can get carried to the wall, which means more damage. It means you can get more easily than other characters. It means you can get wrung out more easily than other characters who are heavier than you. And you can get wrung out on like half wall stages, which is typically for most characters, you just eat a wall combo damage. Well, if you're really light, instead of eating a half wall count, instead of eating a combo on the wall, you eat a 100% ring out combo because you got floated over the edge of the ring. That's the problem with being light in this game. And as you see, all the light characters, these are all the lighter characters, are not that strong. Like, this is my actual problem with this game, is that they didn't balance weights very well. So I think they should get rid of it. Get rid of weight class, potentially. Because they're clearly struggling to balance around it. Even in the most balanced, best version of this game, which is this one. They had a hard time balancing weight classes. So just get rid of it, personally. Whatever. So Vanessa's strong because her mix-ups are strong enough to compensate for her lightness. Sarah, I want to go from strongest to weakest, but so let's just throw this off the list for now. we're gonna go next to a Lion. Lion. You could say Lion's stronger than Taka, but I'm not gonna say that. He could even be here. Some people put him in S. I'm not. I'm gonna put him in A. Maybe A plus. Actually, here's what we need. We need. We need an S minus. I do think he's better than Taka. Maybe they get fixed by giving more speed to lighter. They've already given him more speed to lighter characters. The problem isn't their speed. The problem is that Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is a very high damaging game, and there isn't a great way to balance around the damage unless they give lighter characters more damaging options. Now, Lion is a lighter character. Here's how they balance tend to be so strong. He's very light, has all the same problems all the girls have. He has a faster jab. He has good lows. He has great circulars, and he's relatively safe if he wants to be, which is going to be important. The problem with all the other women in this game, all the other lighter characters in this game, is that they don't have a way to be safe and be damaging. Lion does. He can be very safe, very evasive, and still kill you in the process. He also has some of the most disgusting side turn hits that will just walk you to the edge of the ring and ring you out potentially, or walk you to the edge into a wall and you'll get a stagger, which will lead, for those of you who don't know, staggers are basically on side turn by a wall. It means more combo damage for them. A lot of damage for them. So Lion can kind of set these wall situations up very easily and consistently, or he can set up potential ring out situations very consistently and easily as well, without taking much risk. Just guaranteed, you just got to deal with it. So his mix is very strong. His damage is high enough if you think about not just his combos, but about unavoidable hits that are like punish moves. It's really good. He's very annoying in that way. I do like the way that played Akira to get a win. Thought feel the character to me with you, yeah. Akira gets to just enforce his will on you. Akira does need to have a good read on you, but he gets rewarded for consistent reads, and Akira forces you to play his game. You are not allowed to not engage with Akira in the way he wants to engage with you, or you're gonna die. That's unique. Taka is like that a little bit, but there are more ways to stop there's more counterplay to Taka. For Jacky, he's also, you kind of have to respect his options as well, because he does so much damage, but there's a great way to control him, which is Jacky relies on you pressing buttons. If you don't press buttons, Jacky's not that strong. The problem is it's very hard not to do that, and you gotta press buttons sometimes. So you have to make a read. And if Jacky's good at making reads, and he's a strong Jacky, you're gonna have a hard time. Okay, next. This is where it starts getting a little harder. Brad's really good too. He's relatively heavy. He is high damaging. Has great punish game. Has great space control. Basically doesn't have any weaknesses. He's one of the most solid characters in the game. He just doesn't have as much like gross stuff. So like everyone, you know what? I'm pushing Taka up to S minus. Now I'm thinking about it. All these characters got some gross bullshit. Like they're just disgusting. They're just absolutely disgusting. You wouldn't want to run into these people in the street because of how gross they must be. That's these four characters, all of them. Brad is the first strong, non-disgusting character, in my opinion. Once you get past these top four, everything gets a little more murky. A lot more variability there. So you're going to find a lot of people disagree on this, but people kind of more or less agree on like where they go, the exact order of them, is up for debate oftentimes. Next, I'm going to put Go here. I think he's stronger than Vanessa. Here's why Go's good. Similar to Brad, he is able to not enforce his will like Brad does, and there's more clear gaps in Go's play. Go has to be pretty good, like the player has to be pretty good to get everything out of him. But if you have good reads and you're not scared to take some risks, then you can play really well with him. His punishment isn't strong as Brad, which is why he's not above Brad. And Brad can take risks if he wants to. He doesn't have to. Go kind of does to a degree, but he can afford to. Same thing with Brad. He can also afford to take risks. That's why Vanessa's lower. She's like the starting point of you're still strong, but you gotta make some risks. And you may not actually benefit from having to take those risks as well as other characters that are above you. This part gets harder. I'm gonna put John next. John's very solid. He has bad matchups. Apparently Eileen's not a good match for him for some reason. That's if you play well with Eileen, basically versus John. He has very small gaps that are very exploitable, but they're small. So against a good player, it's going to be hard. Sorry, I covered all of the chat by mistake there. A good player will be able to abuse a Jean who is not playing within the confines of what they're allowed to do. He can do that and still be very effective. He's kind of light though. He's not as light as these other characters who are going to be below him, but he can play safe and he has answers to most options and he can be really annoying. He's great. He's a good character. He's a solid character. He's a solid mid-tier. These are the mid-tiers we're talking about here now. You could argue, actually, you know what? We're getting rid of A-. That's because there are too many people in A. And these people aren't A. I think John is like top of B. But we have C and D as well. I might put him here. We'll move things around a little bit. Wolf. Wolf isn't very good. But he's not as bad as these other characters that are down here. I'm just gonna throw them all in here. Sure, just gonna do this. My list. It's not on the list. We don't count her. It's kind of hard. Okay. That's the list. I had to get into a starting point. Let's go from the bottom. Eileen. Now, some people will say she belongs here. Some people will say she belongs here. Or here. Or here. It moves around. These three characters aren't very good. Eileen has to take risks. She's very light, very easy to kill. Aoi also has to take risks. She's very light, very easy to kill. It doesn't have very good options to stop you from being able to kill them. I'm actually going to put Lei a little higher. I don't think he's as bad as people think he is. Worse, who's the pie player you mentioned earlier? Best player at the moment? That would be Shiwa Pawn. Or Shiwa. Is their other name? Very cool person. Highly recommend them. They're super chill. Big fan. Big fan. Okay. So I think Eileen is like the strongest of the worst characters. Now here's why I'm putting Lei-Fei a little higher. People would say he goes here. Some people say he's the worst. because his punishment's bad. He has to take risks, and he's really immobile. And he has like his punishment game is really bad. However, if he has reads, he does lots of damage. So like, I see a lot of Lei players really be quite successful with him in tournaments in Japan against some of the best players in the world. So like, doesn't mean he's not good. No, he's still like not great, but I don't think he's as bad as these two. Really. Pi, her problem is that, and these are roughly ordered. I'm trying to order them. It's a little hard to order these guys. Pi's problem is that she doesn't do lots of damage. She needs counter hits, and you have to play super solid with her. But she gets access to almost every tactic in the game except for guard rate. And she has some broken mix-ups that, if you're able to pull off, I think might bump her up to like here. You know what? I think she's slept on. I'm putting her in B. I don't think she's as bad as people think she is. I think she's better. I think she's in B. Now, the thing is she as good as Go? No. Is she as good as Vanessa? No. Actually, Vanessa I think might be stronger than these. I think Vanessa's like here. And so like Lao's pretty strong. Moving it around. But not that strong. Okay. He's the same tier, in my opinion, as Pi. Some people say Pi goes down here. I'm going to keep it here because this is my list. What Lao has is he can do everything pretty solidly. He can enforce good damage. None of his combos do tons of damage on their own, but he can enforce it pretty often, and he can get them relatively easily. So he demands a lot of the person piloting him, but if you can pull it out, he's just constantly kind of just hurting you, and he's constantly making you choose in a way that you might not feel comfortable with. On the contrary, Wolf isn't that strong because he has to rely on what we call Nataku, which is two choices. He's very good at that, but there are other characters who are better at it, like a Taka, which basically an Nataku choice in Virtua Fighter means you gotta pick between a mid or a throw. Wolf is really able to do that because of how heavy he is. He's not great at it, but it's what he's best at. And he's good enough to be better than everybody else below him at that feature. Everyone below him has to respect that about him or they might die. Now, some people would say Wolf's even down here. I'm actually going to agree with that. I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to say he's like the strongest of the weaker characters. Because of his reliance on having to make reads and not getting super rewarded for it like other characters are who don't have to make reads. Jeffry used to be considered here. That has changed in Japan for one reason alone, and because of one player. Because he has something called Splash Mountain. It's the move where he kicks you with his toe and then he lifts you up and slams you down. It's a just frame input. Perfect time. It's not just, it's just frame. It's very, on counter hit, attack. He gets that full thing. It takes like half your health. Guaranteed half your health gone. Gone. Blink of a goddamn eye. 2 of those and you've lost the game. It's over. Okay? That's what happens to you. So, yeah. He's good if you can pull that off. If you can't, then he's bad. So, if you can't do that, he's here. If you can, he's here. Solidly. Kage. Light. Actually, he's... I think we're moving him up. If you can do it, he's really fucking strong. He's solid. solid mid tier, in my opinion. The B tiers are a little iffy. Like, we might not even need a C tier because all these characters are kind of like close to each other. I'm thinking, oh, Shun's strong if he gets drinks. He's not like oppressive, but if you can get if he gets all of his drinks, he's up here with everybody else. But he starts here. The ordering in A is kind of iffy. Like I'm not quite sure what order there are because like I'm going back and forth. But this is roughly the order. Same thing with B. They're all kind of like around the same strength. I'm gonna keep him there because he has to take too many risks. Blaze could be considered gimmicky. He has to make big reads too. Wow, the lady next to Eileen, I was interested in. Oh, Owie, yeah, I know. I mean, don't say don't play them, just no, they're not that strong. And why? The mid tiers are where most characters are. Most characters are mid tier. There are just a few that are exceptionally strong and like exceptionally weak, relative to the other characters. And so, like, in a tournament setting, Sarah is like maybe here, potentially here, because she can just run her shit and you gotta guess. But over time, she's here. If you know how to defend against a Sarah, she just kind of explodes, and she can't really safely open you up. Eileen can safely open you up. Okay, this is gonna be a hot take for some people. I think Eileen is like here. When played defensively, when played with 100% awareness of where you can get wrung out and making your options change defensively around that, I think she's really fucking strong. But if you're not doing that, if you're just happening to have a bad day, you're not like on the razor's edge of perfection, you're down here. That could apply for any character, but I have personal experience with her, and I really do think she's much stronger than she seems. Dural's banned like wolf. So yeah, Blaze has to take too many risks that aren't rewarding enough. Kage just doesn't do anything. He's like, he's actually not that good. He might be the strongest of the weaker characters. Yes, this is ordered properly. So C's ordered right. Kage sucks. He doesn't do lots of damage. He doesn't have any real threatening options other than his throw. So he's pretty easy to defend against. Unless he tricks his opponent, which he has to do pretty often and a lot to win, and you just need to hit him once. And he's light, so you do lots of damage to him. Unfortunate. I used to play Kage. He's too hard for me now. I think I got everybody. It's all of them. Yeah, that's my list. Aoi, talked about her already. Bum 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 bum.